Every opportunity is still golden in this land. And through that golden door, our children can walk into tomorrow.
From space against the Earth.
The time is now, my fellow Americans, to recapture our destiny, to take it into our own hands. And to do this will take many of us working together.
This summer, the destroyer of New York JFK Airport has been hijacked.
And from the Earth against two distant space.
Where's the beat? No one can be denied the promise that is America.
Game 5 of the 1984 World Series.
Four of us got together and said, you know, elk there's a special thing about elk. It's such a magnificent animal that I think somebody could do something for elk, similar to sheep or ducks or turkeys. And nobody's doing it, so we're going to roll the dice. And
So on May 14th, 1984, with big dreams, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation became a reality. The founders took on loans, established steep lines of credit, drained bank accounts, and yet somehow scraped together just enough to keep the lights on.
It wasn't the idea I was against at all. I still knew it was a great idea. I was just not sure that we needed to be involved, and it would be our last $8,000 in the bank.
And when you get all of your skin in the game, you better move forward and make it happen.
What happened next was the first issue of Bugle magazine. It rolled off the press that same fall.
But to see Troy, Montana, a little town of less than 900 people, put together the talent that we were receiving from people that came on board shortly.
As new member dues trickled in the first few years, the small staff, jammed inside a cramped double-wide trailer, was financially treading water.
There were a lot of dips and turns, and it was very scary. But then we started seeing a bigger picture of things that were happening.
In 1987, RMEF got word that Robb Creek Ranch, with its 17,000 acres of pristine wildlife habitat in southwest Montana, hit the market.
If we don't buy that, it's going to be developed because it's beautiful country. But it's going to cost $2 million. Well, we still didn't have 2 cents to rub together.
RMEF worked tirelessly to gather funding, relying on donations from stellar volunteers like Wallace Pate and Aaron Jones along the way. In the 11th hour, with the deal teetering on falling apart, Anheuser-Busch stepped up with a $500,000 donation. The Robb Creek project closed, catapulting RMEF forward as a big-time mover and shaker in the conservation world.
sent the message that, you know, we're for real. Other people started paying attention that we were alive and well and doing things.
Having pulled up stakes in Troy in favor of Missoula, some 200 miles to the south, RMEF's influence expanded as well, putting more money on the ground for habitat work, research, and conserving swaths of land from just outside Yellowstone Park to Wyoming to Pennsylvania, and conservation accomplishments beyond.
Being hailed as an historic day in the mountains of eastern Kentucky.
Nearly 4,000 people turned out to watch as state fish and wildlife officials released 7 elk into the woods.
In 1997, RMEF supplied more than $1 million to help restore wild elk to their historic Kentucky range and supported new restorations in Wisconsin, Tennessee, North Carolina, Missouri, Virginia, West Virginia, and Ontario, Canada.
The Elk Foundation has maintained, and it's really hard to do in this world, is credibility. We have done what we said we're going to do.
With that long-standing mantra, RMEF surged forward with landmark land conservation and access projects in Colorado, Tennessee, Washington, and across elk country. It worked with partners to create the Chronic Wasting Disease Alliance as a founding member, launched a state grants program that since put millions of dollars on the ground for habitat stewardship, and, busting at the seams, RMEF built and moved into a new headquarters to better handle demands of the growing conservation movement.
Organizations such as the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation have accepted the challenge to make a difference.
Many, like visionary conservationist Bob Torstensen, through their steadfast support behind the mission, the Life member from Illinois donated his 93,000-acre New Mexico ranch to RMEF, which honored his wishes, with the family's blessing by transferring it into the hands of another conservation-minded landowner. Doing so established one of the largest endowments ever gifted to a hunter-based wildlife conservation organization. As a result, the Torstensen family endowment since generated millions upon millions of dollars to advance conservation and hunting heritage.
My family and I believe in the mission of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and hope to merge our own values with their goals.
Volunteers of all ages continued to give of their time and talents, both on the ground and planning and hosting critical fundraising banquets across the nation. Their member fundraising efforts, combined with donors, outdoor industry partners, and others, generated dollars for projects like this one in Oregon. They combined what were thousands of acres of checkerboard ownership into one mass of publicly accessible land. Also, a Montana scenic effort that not only opened the door to 27,000 acres of public land, but led to a presidential signature permanently and fully funding the Land and Water Conservation Fund. And in late 2023, a project in the heart of Kentucky's Elk Range that conserved and opened permanent public access to nearly 55,000 acres of private land. RMEF continues to work with partners in support of CWD management, conserving wildlife migration corridors, winter range and calving grounds, wildlife restoration, and scores of studies to accumulate and update elk-related science for the benefit of wildlife management, hunting, and conservation. And so, with 4 decades of accomplishment under its belt, and nationwide support from its volunteer and member base, RMEF looks to a future of more land conservation and access, more habitat stewardship, more wildlife management, and more conservation and hunting heritage outreach.
We didn't protect it to never use it. It was protected to enjoy it and also conserve it for generations to come, not just to sit.
To date, that scope of work conserved or enhanced greater than 9 million acres of habitat.
But I think the Elk Foundation will put a footprint on this nation. And that's something that's extraordinary.
There's people that are members of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation that love the spirit of this organization. You folks are what make this thing happen.
The RMEF members are the most dedicated, passionate, loyal, God-fearing individuals there is in this country. And from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough for what you've done to make this organization where it is and what it is today. Thank you.